glow bright, midnight dance, one more move, one more chance, stop lost tight, but my hope runs wide. Do I bail right now or let this ride? Every signal talks like it knows me, every move could crown me or ghost me. I'm tracing the arc in my mind, chasing the shape I can't find. Hey, turn or trend, they both been riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down again, again. Are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both been. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, spin that doubt, round and round. Hear that hush in the crowd. Is it just a twist or the start of a run? I'm lost in the gust, but it feels like fun. Oh yeah. Turn or trend, they both been riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down again, again. Are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both been. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend. Oh. Shots on the wall, coffee gone cold, finger on the trigger, heart runs bold. Tick tock tick, red turns green. Is this that flip or the start of a scene? Every candle feels like a question, every heartbeat bets on direction. I'm caught in the curve of the line, right on the edge of the sign. Oh, turn or trend, they both been riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down again, again. Are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both been. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, screen glow bright, midnight dance, one more move, one more chance, stop lost tight, but my hope runs wide. Do I bail right now or let this ride? Every signal talks like it knows me, every move could crown me or ghost me. I'm tracing the arc in my mind, chasing the shape I can't find. Hey, turn or trend, they both been riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down again, again. Are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both been. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, spin that doubt, round and round. Hear that hush in the crowd. Is it just a twist or the start of a run? I'm lost in the gust, but it feels like fun. trend. Shots on the wall, coffee gone cold, finger on the trigger, heart runs bold. Tick tock tick, red turns green. Is this that flip or the start of a scene? Every candle feels like a question. Every heartbeat bets on direction. I'm caught in the curve of the line, right on the edge of the sign. Oh, turn or trend, they both bend, riding that swing to the very last, stand up and down. Again, are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both bend. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, screen glow bright, midnight dance. One more move, one more chance. Stop lost tight, but my hope runs wide. Do I bail right now or let this ride? Every signal talks like it knows me. Every move could crown me or ghost me. I'm tracing the arc in my mind, chasing the shape I can't find. Hey, turn or trend, they both bend, riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down. Again, are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both bend. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, spin that.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Sound check, mic check, vibe check. Everything is good. How are you guys? Give me a sound check. Give me a mic check. Let me know if everything is good. We're going to trade the CPI today. Obviously, the first order of business. So I'm just setting up the CPI settings. Then I get a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff to share with you. I did a huge amount of research while I was away on vacation. I ran probably about 20,000 different Monte Carlo simulations, and I got the absolute best settings for dots you'll ever see. There's going to be one more additional variable in the dots indicator, which I'm going to update a little bit later today, called rate of change, and that's also going to go into the wealth charts. I'm sitting down with the wealth charts guys today. It looks like they finished up the code that we made for them, and we're just gonna have to add this last piece of data over here. And when we have it all together, it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna run you through. But first, we're gonna trade the news event for everybody who's here. Good morning. Sound check, mic check, vibe check. Give me everything. We're going to straddle. Yes, we're going to news straddle the news today. We're going to straddle the S&P against NASDAQ. So my vibe, could be completely wrong about this, is that CPI is going to be hot because of the big energy shock that we had due to the Iran conflict. The Iran conflict has already been like more than 30 days, so it must already have, I think, seeped into the CPI numbers. I mean, it's, gas is $1 higher. Now remember, CPI is going to trade core CPI is going to be different from CPI, but I still think, if we do like for example, if year on year goes 3.5, month on month maybe goes 1.2, all of those things are going to have, I think, a negative shock to the system right now. A market I think is kind of underpricing it. I mean, we're obviously up in the pre-market. I can't tell if this is just dealers, rocking it up before sending it lower and just marking it up so that they can short off higher levels, or whether the market really thinks that this is going to be cooler than anybody anticipates. Anyways, the point being is, really, oh wow, did you see that news? Look at this, pieces breaking out all over the place. That would be shocking. That's because the Ukrainians are destroying the Russians right now. This is really interesting. Okay. Anyways, the point being is, NASDAQ is going to react most negatively if the surprise is down. So what I'm going to do, my general thought is, I'm going to short NASDAQ, long S&P, and I'll give you the ratios and everything else in just 1 second. As a matter of fact, let's do the ratios right now. I'll put this on the chart. You also see it. You also see it in the wealth charts, but let me just put this on the chart for you. What we're going to do, and this is for a 25K account. So for a 50K account, double the ratios. I'm going to do 2 NQs, 156. And again, if you guys, I'm going to repeat this 1,000 times. If you don't do what I say and then tell me it doesn't work for you, you're welcome to not do this. But if you want a reasonable chance of getting this funded, this is the ratios and the process you use. 25K, 2 NQs, 156 ticks, no stop. Just no effing stop, okay? Effing stop. So that maybe you guys can understand why we're doing this. Because the moment you put a stop in there, you're going to get stopped out. That's the setup on NQ. And then on ES, we're going to do the same thing. And it's going to be 25K, 3 ES. And the ratio is going to be 42 ticks. 42 ticks, no stop. Okay? So I'm going to go, in my preference, I'm going to be short this. Oops, let me put this in here. Short. And I'm going to be long S&P. Now, S&P is going to be a much harder trade to make. So if I'm wrong, and let's say it's a big pop to the upside, I may not make the S&P cut, but I'm just I'm betting that it's going to be short, so I'm skewing to NASDAQ. That's basically the ratios. Okay? Everybody sees the ratios. We got 15 minutes to go for the ratios. Again, I'm going to show this to you on wealth charts like this. This is the ES setup, and I'm using 3 over here. 3. If you can, let me see where my little, here's my magnifying glass. See that? 3 ESs. And the stops and targets are 42 no stop, 42 ticks, right? And that's going to be a long trade. And then over here will be the NQ. And, oh, hang on a second. Let me just make sure I got this right. I don't want to do this yet. Oh, this is a big mistake. Okay, so we want to go to 305. All right, the beautiful thing about wealth charts is you can prepare everything beforehand and you don't have to fuck around with it. So if I go over here, it's 304, 305. All I got to do is literally switch tabs and click the buy or the sell button, and everything else takes care of itself. So 305 will be the ES. The 304 will be NQ. These are 2 accounts that I bought yesterday. I hope everybody bought accounts yesterday. Yeah. Thank you. I saw that, Ben. I fixed it all. These are. Thank you. I fixed all the drop down. When I'm doing the demonstration, I always forget to check my own work because I'm talking about demonstration. I always screw this up. But anyways, that's the setup. I think the CPI is going to be hot. I think it's going to be really hard to imagine not being hot, given the propagation of gas prices going up through the roof. But you never know. This is what makes markets. This is what makes news trading always so interesting. You can never have 100% confidence in anything. So we are trading. What's this? Are you entering a market? Market. We're always entering a market. The strategy for anybody who's new here is 30 seconds before the release, we're going to go short NASDAQ, long S&P in the ratios that I just posted up here. And we're going to let fate and God, work it out. If if we are correct that the news is going to be bad, the market is going to tank, is going to pull NASDAQ down and hopefully hit our target. If it's a surprise and it's a positive number, it may pull S&P up and hit our target. If it's in line and nothing happens, then we're screwed. That's the whole point. These are cheap accounts. We're just looking to do one single trade funding on these accounts, and see if we can get done. We'll do this. I am, by the way, buying end of day. People have really convinced me properly that the end of day is the right account to buy. It's just marginally more expensive, but gives you much greater leeway in terms of margin buffer on the accounts. And so we're going to do this from the news, and then after news, I'm going to show you all the new research I did. A lot of really, really cool stuff. Just amazingly interesting insights into what really works in dot trading versus what we thought really works in dot trading, backed up by like literally thousands of data points that I was able to run with AI while I was on vacation. So it should be really, really interesting. I'll keep that after we trade. But right now we're just going to focus on trading. Is anybody going to trade with me? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a +1. Let me know if you guys are going to trade with me on this today. Who's in the room today? What about 250K and 150K? Simon, then you have to adjust those, to your targets. I'm only trading 50 and 100. I don't have the ratios proper. You have to, I don't know. I don't even know what you need to do in order to make 250K target in terms of ratios. You could just try to, go 20 NQ. Can you go 20 NQs on 250K? I don't even know if you have that size. You can try 20 NQs on 150K and see if that hits target. The problem with the much larger accounts is their risk reward numbers are very, very skewed against the trader, and so we don't trade those accounts because they're not really they're enticing because you're going to get all this capital, but they're like a carnival trick. They're almost impossible to make the jump because the risk reward there is so badly skewed against you. I think it's a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio. You got to make 3 times as much money against a 1/3 drawdown risk in order to be able to fund the account. So I don't trade those accounts. $25 NQ is max. So I guess you can. I don't know if like this what this is going to do is on a 2 NQ is going to give you $1,500. So on 20 NQ at this ratio, it's going to give you $15,000. I don't know if that funds you at 250K or it doesn't. I don't know what the funding numbers are, but this is the way you would think about it. Okay. What time do we have now? It is. Oh wait, hold on a second. Where's my time here? Oh, it's 8:20. So we got 10 more minutes before the news. As I said, the market right now looking for 1 against 3. So it's really quite a big jump. It's quite a lot of it. I mean, I understand why sort of the market seems to be more positive and negative because we're already basically tripling our expectation, right? And the whole key to news trading is not the actual print, but the deviance from expectation. So if we just come in even at 1%, even if we come in as expected, we'll see how much. Even if we come in as expected, I still think the algos are going to pull the data down. But whether they're going to pull, they need to pull it down by like 36 points in NASDAQ in order for us to have a clean hit. So we'll see. I'm not sure. What happens here. We'll see how that plays out. I mean, that is a really, really big expectation here, right? The market is already quite negative on the numbers. But even if the market is quite negative, I still think the shock is, kind of interesting. Yeah, yesterday data was primarily in line, not much of a move. I mean, we may be in a situation where a lot of the CPI is kind of eaten. We could certainly be in, we could totally prepare yourself, guys, for the idea of it being in line, not much of a move, and we get stopped out on both ways because you get this flush up and down, and because of very tight drawdowns. I only have $1,000 drawdown on $25,000 account. We could get stopped out both ways. I mean, that's just it's the risk of the trade. You have to accept it ahead of yourself. That's why you got to buy the cheap accounts. I hope you guys all bought the cheap accounts. I think Apex probably going to go back to discount pretty soon. So. Okay. All right, then then you're not trading with me, Ira. You're trading with yourself, okay? Because I'm trading the 1 minute on a 156. But good luck. I wish everybody luck. Ben says legacy 150 needs 9K, so you could get it done. Legacy 250 needs 15K. So whoever's trading 250s, if you simply 10x my numbers, you might be able to get it done. The key question here is: are we going to get a straight drop down, or is it gonna jag up and down as a play? The much more interesting stuff that I will tell you, once we do the news trading, and hopefully we'll see if news will fund one side or the other side, is all of the really cool stuff that I did in Punta Cana in terms of doing refining the dots algorithm. I will tell you one absolutely dominant piece of intelligence, absolutely incontrovertible. This is across all data sets and everywhere else. And this is something that very hard for me to accept because, me, I love to counter trend trades. But basically, the single most dominant factor in successful dot trading is to trade with a big trend. So if what you should be doing, like right now, we're VWAP long, right? We're above VWAP. This is VWAP. If you're getting red dots, it doesn't matter how good they are, doesn't matter how many great shots you have at red dots. All of those are going to be losing trades on a large sample basis. Like on an immediate basis, you might be able to make a couple of wins, and that's great. If you want to just discretionary scalp, you're good. But if you want to scalp within the larger methodology, the first rule that was really, really hard for me to kind of accept was that you must always trade with. This is, by the way, Rob. When Rob always yells at me, he goes, "You're always trading well when you're trading with trend, and you always suck when you're trading counter trend." You need to trade on the side of the VWAP. That means if you get 45 minutes of red dots and you're a smart dot scalper, you should take no trades at all. Or you should have, one of the things that I did when I was in Punta Cana was actually said that what you need to do is you need to create a garbage account. The great thing about Apex is you can buy as many of them as you want. They're cheap, and you just simply trade the garbage account counter trend. But if you want to really make serious progress towards funding and towards wins, you only trade in the direction of VWAP. That's step one. There's quite a lot of other interesting insights that I found, but that was by far the single most important discovery of making sure that you win trading with dots. Jalen, how are you? Oh, you guys missed me. Well, it was I missed you guys. Although I must say, it was really, really nice. Man, I'm a huge fan of Punta Cana and DR. That was literally one of the best vacations we had in a long time as a family. Yeah. There was no coaching last night, my friend. I was on vacation. No coaching. Coaching. I told everybody no coaching. I just came back, man. It's Easter week. There's no fucking trading on Easter week. No. So there's nothing going on here. All right, we are like 3 minutes away. So about 30 seconds before game time, I'm going to place my trades. And again, I'm going to repeat for everybody who's pre-setting up. It's going to be, I'm trading 25K accounts, end of day, end of day drawdowns. NASDAQ is going to be 156, no stop. That's 156. I'm going to go short NASDAQ, okay? I will be selling NASDAQ, and I'll be buying S&P, 42 ticks on 3 S&Ps. These are my ratios. I repeated this 1,000 times now. I'm just going to get wider. So this is NASDAQ. We're going to go short first. This is like, when the clock hits about 8:29. Maybe I might even do this. Now, this is NQs. These are mini accounts, huge size. It's going to immediately go, up, down a couple of $100. So we really want to be just in front of the news, because the whole idea is if we get a dislocation, deep enough, we need basically about a 36-point dislocation in NASDAQ, about a 7.5 point, 40. What's 42 ticks divided by 4? No, about a 10.5. We need about 10.5 point dislocation in S&P in order for us to get done. Meaning, the target hits us. So yeah, everybody was away. Nice. Yeah. Well, this was the week to be away. So that's the game plan. So we got, we're almost there. We're actually just like 1 minute away. It's 8:28:45. Around 8:28:15, I'm gonna sell NASDAQ. I'm doing this on my well charts. Well charts is super easy to do this. So this is the NASDAQ one. As I said, I'm leaning short. I could be completely wrong. Leaning short means that I want NASDAQ to. Let me see. Okay, so I think I can start. I'm going to sell NASDAQ. So we sold NASDAQ. Okay, and now we're going to go to S&P. I'm going to buy S&P, and we'll see what works out. We'll see what works out. We can actually, I think we could probably follow this over here. The other thing is, of course, I may breach the daily loss limits. They make it much, much harder now to kind of do this in any meaningful fashion. So daily loss limits, this is where I'm at. This is my drawdowns. I'm just watching the accounts. We are 54 seconds. Here's the chart. We'll see what happens on the chart. Up, 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 up. So I was wrong, and this one gets done. Look at that. Look how beautiful that got done. Holy shit. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why the thing. So I was wrong essentially in reading my skewing myself towards NASDAQ, right? But it doesn't matter because the skew was so big that the S&P got done. We are at 26,565, which means that we're funded. Who got funded? Who got funded with me? Talk to me, my friends. Who got funded? Anybody got funded on this? This was as clean a trade as I could have given you. We went long S&P. Long S&P, short NASDAQ. I was wrong in my skew direction, but it didn't matter because the volatility was so big. It gave us a shot. Cam Bradbury hit the S&P. Good for you. Who hit the S&P? Gloria, did you hit the S&P? Just type to me that you hit the S&P, or like, yes, S&P is Cam Bradbury. I'm just curious to see how many people got funded today. One shot, one kill, which is what I love to see. Thank you, Gloria. Gloria, you are gonna love what I discovered in Punta Cana with all my AI runs. Good job, Brian. Good job, Sim. Thank you very much. What account funds you in one day? Apex Trader Funding, our favorite shop. Here's the discount codes, by the way. For those of you guys who are new, please go buy some Apex accounts. Obviously, the biggest discount codes went away yesterday, but they're gonna do more discount codes. It's still regardless of how you do this. You blew both. Astrologer. Man, what happened? Did you not follow my rules? Oh, Ira, you hit S&P in 2 accounts. Good for you. Astrologer, man, what happened? Too much degen action here? Oh, I'm sorry you blew both. Saber, you hit the S&P. Good for you, man. How's everything? All right, I'm glad everybody in the room got done. Nice to see everybody get hit on trades. Super. Oh, it's extended to the second? Oh, yay. Seriously, Cheryl? I knew they were going to bullshit extend this. Ben, what happened to you? What happened to all the pros? You were trading 50s, but the 50s, the 50s was a double. Tell me, I'm just curious because I need to know what happened on the 50s. Like what size and why it didn't work out? Because did it draw you down on a just too volatile? Come on, Ben, that's the whole point. 4 NQ short. Oh, but why didn't you go long? The whole point. Oh, you did too little. No, you did too little ESs. You did too little ESs. That's the whole point. You need to do 6 ESs. ES isn't gonna pop 20 points. I got very lucky on the ESs. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I definitely got lucky on the ESs here. But yeah, no, you got to do those ratios. There's a reason why I do 3 for 25 and 6 for 50 because it's just not going to extend that much. That was another really, really cool thing, by the way, out of all this research I did with Claude over the vacation. So, I'll tell you a funny story. So every morning at like 5:45 a.m., the whole frigging club is, of course, sleeping. Just me and this guy who's really, I met a really cool, interesting guy from Barcelona there who actually is married to an American. So he like splits his time between Barcelona. He was like this really, really high-end tax attorney setting up a whole bunch of, I guess, trusts in Liechtenstein. But like he and I, like the only ones, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, just slaving away in the coffee shop, banging away at our computers. And he's just, I guess, talking to Spain because they're 6 hours ahead, and I'm just like banging away at AI until while everybody was sleeping. And it was so cool because I learned so much on AI there. I'm going to just share with you some of the really, really interesting things that I learned. Yes, you always need this. This is the most important thing that, So what I did, and let's go back to, okay, first of all, here's first order of business. Let's do this. Yes. First of all, I'm going to kill this. I don't need this. I'm not trading ESs anymore. Let's go back to MNQ. Reset yourselves to the small contract so that I don't, where's my June, here we go. MNQ. All right. And then we're going to we're going to rotate accounts. I'm going to rotate accounts with you today. All right, let me get rid of all this. We move to drawings. We're kind of done with this. So let me just sort of update you on what's going to be coming up on Monday. I'm going to keep everything. Hopefully, by Tuesday, Wednesday, wealth charts will be ready. By Monday, I'm going to have the full condition of dots easy. Cosmetically, a lot of people asked me to move the PP delta and the dot count density, basically the trend chop indicator, away from the candles because it was blocking the candles. So now I've put it on top of each session. So it's going to basically be at the end of whichever is the leading session right now. The New York session is leading session. This will be you'll be floating up here. So it's going to be much easier for you guys to see it, right? I hope you guys like that. Give me a +1 if you like this positioning of the chop trend indicator, right? Yes, I mean, I want to see like 5 +1s to make sure that we're gonna seal this UI for you guys, because the whole idea was people really were bitching about the fact that it was hard to see. I want to make sure this is the easiest part to see. So I see 1, 2. I want to see 5 +1s here, guys. Give me some +1s. Looking good. Okay, so that's exactly where we're gonna position that. The second important variable, really interesting variable. This is something that I can't take credit for. It was really Claude that came up with. It's a very simple variable called rate of change, right? And here's what it measures. It basically measures the absolute value of candles. I think I forget what how many. I think maybe it goes back like. This is what's really cool. This completely eliminates the need for range filters, because what it says is half hour before New York range or Asia range. Half hour before Asia session, or half hour before London session, or half hour before New York session, is the average candle moving at least 3 NASDAQ points? This is for NASDAQ. Obviously, it'll be different for gold and everything else in absolute terms. And if it's not moving that much, the whole session is not worth trading. Historically, what we discovered is you don't no longer need like a big session, like 30 candles back, how wide it is. What you're really looking for is there any type of continuity movement in the pre-session? If there's a lot of activity, it will confirm that pre-session has continuity movement. If it doesn't, it's not going to. And there are like actually 5 separate type of time segments that you can set up. But I'll go through that on Monday because we're still have to set it up. But basically, because one of the things that that I need to do in here is to explain to you what are the actual hours here, UTC hours of session 1, session 2, session 3, and session 4. In this case, it's basically 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. This is Asia session, right? If the rate of change is less than 3, none of Asia is tradable. Just don't even bother trading it that day. You will lose money that day. If it is livelier than that, then you can actually make money with it. It's very, very cool. I ran this not against some simulated data, but I actually was able to take our dots indicator, go back historically, 18, 20, 30, 40 days with thousands and thousands and thousands of data points, and run all those scenarios against it to come back with answers. So these answers are based not upon some sort of projection, but actual real data conditions, and it gives you some very, very good insights. But what I want to show you right now, before anything else, is the following. This is what I want to show you. You guys seeing this on my screen here? Let me see. Okay. This is what's super interesting, and I'll be happy to you guys can take a screenshot of this if you want to take a screenshot of it. But I'll be happy to share this with you later. Testing NASDAQ as the best possible time to trade NASDAQ, right? Yes, you can backtest and Claude, and not just backtest, but literally backtesting kind of, I think, is not even that doesn't do it all credit, because what you say is, here's all the data, here's all the dots. If I do this, am I making money or not making money? That's literally what what you're running. And then he goes forward and say, if I run 5,000 Monte Carlo tests doing this, what happens in the future? And it tells you have like a 99% chance of success or 99% of failure. The the very deep Monte Carlo stuff, I'm going to save for coaching, because those of you guys who are going to be coaching are going to just be blown away at how I basically created a full, I can't, no way I could say a full blown plan. What I could say is I created a plan that gives me 95% confidence, statistical confidence, that we can get paid out on multiple Apex accounts in a manner that will just completely shock you in terms of what the real strategy is versus what everybody teaches you as a strategy. I mean, realistic payouts, not the 100,000 I faked by I fake my accounts by data shop or whatever the fuck the photoshopping the accounts, bullshit. I'm talking about real, absolutely trade by trade, step by step strategy of how you can get paid out, not funded. Funded, we know. Funded, I do for you every single week. We already know how to get funded. We already step beyond 95% of other traders. Now we're going to step beyond the 99.9 traders that fail to get paid out. We're going to be in the 1/10 to 1% of getting paid out with this particular strategy. So I'm saving that for coaching. If you guys want coaching, that's going to be. Let me put the link in here. Here's the link to coaching. You can join me. I'll be happy to have you in my coaching. So that whole step-by-step process is going to be super interesting. But for everybody else, this is incontrovertible. Like, I guarantee you that this is the best information you will have, because it's based on pure facts, thousands of tests. And I actually traded all of this myself, live traded this myself the whole time. And it was like butter. It was so easy to make money if you follow these rules. So assuming you pass all my trend filters ahead of time, assuming that the range is viable, right? The best times to trade NASDAQ, and with a very, very negative skew, by the way, 5 target, 20 stop. That's what we're going to be trading now. We're going to be trading 5 target, 20 stops for fun, for shits and giggles, because the really most interesting piece of information that came out of this is that the single worst time to trade, literally guaranteed to lose, guaranteed to fuck, if you take every trade between now and 11 o'clock New York, you're guaranteed to lose almost all the time in trading NASDAQ. The only reason that we are winning is because we are doing a whole bunch of discretionary filtration. Like, the only way you can win is just by really being a good field trader, and that's the fascinating part about this whole thing is we're basically winning despite ourselves, because categorically, the most difficult, worst, completely untradable scalp time because we divided everything by like 1 hour segments, was from 6 in the morning New York until 11 in the morning New York. So take that to the bank and think about that. I just thought that was really, really amusing. What was the absolute best time to trade NASDAQ, where you were like virtually printing money, where you had an 86.3% win rate? In some cases, there was like a 90% win rate. Was between 1 o'clock and 2 p.m. New York. Shockingly, just shocked the hell out of me. But here's what happens. In 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock New York, you have just enough moderate amount of continuity, right? Moderate amount of continuity that persists, so that almost every single trade in this kind of a 520 structure is a winner. I thought it was really, really interesting and fascinating at how that worked. The second best time to trade was in Asia. This is basically 8 o'clock New York until midnight New York, right? No, I'm sorry. This is really Asia. This is great for everybody who is in Australia, or I don't know, maybe Asia itself, or maybe early Europe. This is midnight New York. This is actually pretty good also for California. If you guys, because midnight New York is 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock till about 1 o'clock a.m. California. Given, and this is a very, very big given, you have enough volatility prior. So obviously your rate of change indicator shows a green day. This whole rate of change indicator, which I'm going to talk to you about, is it basically tells you trade that day, you don't trade that day. This is another huge, huge filter that turns winners winners from losers. When the range is tight and there's nothing going on in Asia, it's just not worth trading the whole session. You're not going to get the hits. But if you get like lots of movement, like Iran news hits us, and we start really, really moving early Asia, those sessions are incredibly fertile from 12 midnight till about 4 o'clock in the morning New York, or 9 p.m. to 1 p.m. California time, or Australia obviously does really, really well. All of those things, right? And then the other time that was productive was New York, 8 p.m. to midnight. Again, if you pass those gates, so super, super interesting. So Saber says that he made every day in Asia market minimum $300 or more in Asia session. Yeah. And and honestly, Saber, if you sort of use this ROC filter, which I'll talk about, it'll be even better, because the ROC will the times when you're getting chopped up in Asia, you shouldn't just be trading at all. But that was really interesting insights. Is that the most volatile times are literally the worst times to scalp, because what happens is you don't get the continuity and you get the retrace, right? What's our worst nightmare is that we don't get continuity and we get retrace, right? It retraces out, but doesn't give us the continuity to hit the trade. And that's literally what New York is all about. But we're going to discretionary trade. We don't care. I'm going to, as a matter of fact, I told you, we have a, I'm going to just trade the garbage account. This is going to be my garbage account. This is not funded. This one is 50, just started with this. And let me make sure that I'm on MNQ. I'm on micros, and I want to go to one. We're going to trade one, and we're going to trade, because we're just going to, so this one is going to be, it's a 2080 target. So five points. We're going to just look for very, very small scalps, because the other thing that's interesting is, yes, even if you get big momentum moves, they're much smaller than, like, if you want to have like an 80-85% win rate, you want to just go for very little. Greed kills scalps. 1.8 points average means that over thousands and thousands of trades, the average trade yielded 1.8. You get a 1.8. You made if you were trading a large contract, you would have made like $20.50 per trade. If you're trading a small contract, you made it $2.50 per trade, right? So if you're doing thousands of trades, you'd made $2 per trade. On average. Oh, sorry. This average per day. It's not per trade, per day yield. Average per day yield. This was based on whatever size contracts you're doing. That's it. It's interesting. Well, we'll see if the continuity is there today, but the single most humbling piece of data that happened to me is that it doesn't matter everything else you do, you can ignore all these rules. If you ignore this one, I'm actually going to buy this just because we have a green dot here. If you ignore this one rule, you're guaranteed to lose, like literally guaranteed to lose. You know what that rule is? If you're trading against the VWAP or you're trading against, the large thing. So in other words, the single worst thing to do, no matter, even if you can make like 7 trades in a row to win that particular day, you're still going to be a massive loser over a 10-day period, is to trade against the trend. That was just a brutally humbling piece of data. We all, you know me, I love to fade it. I love to do this. Now, fading, by the way, there are a couple of interesting things that we can absolutely do for fading that is not necessarily trading against the trend. I'll explain to you this. But the general idea of like, I have a red slope, I have red dots, but the VWAP is, but the price is above you. By the way, see that five quick points. That's it. That's all I'm going to do with you guys. Just take 5 quick points continuously on this thing. Because you're doing, Ira, you're doing, Ira, why it's good is a much more interesting and complicated question that is only, I'm going to reserve only for coaching. The answer to that is going to just blow your mind as to why that's good. Okay. Oh shit! I'm not showing the chart. Sorry guys, you're right. Sorry. Hang on a second. I'm like I forgot the chart here. I took my trade and I wasn't showing the chart. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry, English. Okay, I'll stay on the chart now. But again, my point is that the most interesting, like if you do nothing, but just simply never take a red trade in an upward sloping VWAP, or never take a green trade in a downward sloping VWAP, you'll certainly not be a winner, but you'll be a much less of a loser. Okay. You may even be a winner if you just sort of be very, very selective about what you do here, but you will certainly be much less of a loser. And that's, a key point to how you become a winner in the end. It was really, really interesting. So we're never gonna take any red dots against the long-term moving average, with a few exceptions, with just a very, very few exceptions, which are essentially going to be in the philosophy that of our structure. So the only times you will allow yourself to take a red dot is if the red dot is against the green slope. So for example, this is a red dot against, this is basically a buy. We're the only times we're going to buy, we're going to take reds is when we're buying them. We're obviously going to buy the greens, right? And we don't care about, like, if this thing goes and there's like literally 800 points of profit here, we're going to let all that profit go, because over the long run, buying contra trend is a sucker bet in a momentum continuity structure, right? It's just a sucker bet. That was a really interesting insight into why dots work and why dots don't work, right? Aside from the best times to trade, the trend chop filters, all those things, they're really, the single most dominant thing is you want to trade with trend. Now, does that mean that I'm never gonna buy sell-offs? I'm not gonna sell rips. I'm never gonna buy dips and sell rips. No, because there are a whole bunch of other trades that we can do just for shits and giggles. And again, these are shits and giggles trades, not the great scalping trades. Like we can buy, something hits session lows and stops. Session lows doesn't make any fresh session lows. We can buy that as just a bounce trade. But a bounce trade is not a reversal trade. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say is, trend reversal trades is not something you want to be doing. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? You want to give me a thumbs up to kind of confirm to me that you guys, vibe what I'm saying. Hey, everybody who came into the room right now, nice to have you. But I wish you guys were with us half an hour earlier, because we already got funded on our accounts. It's always a story. I know, we start at 9, but on event days, we start at 8. Just keep in mind that when I do event days and I'm putting our live at 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock, there's a reason for that. There's a lot of money reason for that. So we already got funded Trading Cpi by doing our news straddle. See, this account is already all funded. Nice and ready to go on Monday to be traded. So for those of you who are coming in late, just make a mental note. Anytime I'm trading 8 o'clock, that means that is when I'm trying to do single trade fund accounts. So you want to be there with me at 8 o'clock because the whole action happens at 8:30, and you either win or lose in a matter of 10 seconds. So you got to be prepared for it. So I'm glad everybody's coming into the room. I know it's Friday, everybody's chilling. It's Ask Me Anything Friday. You can totally ask me any questions you like. But if you want to come in here to make money, be sure to come in at 8 o'clock on news days because that's when all the magic happens. Okay. So, anyways, I mean, that was sort of like the most interesting takeaway from the whole thing, right? Which is that you don't want to trade red dots unless you're buying them in a general uptrend. You don't want to be trading green dots in a general downtrend. Even though you could be successful 1 trade, 2 trade, 3 trades in a row, over 10 trades, 20 trades, 100 trades, you're eventually going to lose. It's a negative edge trade. It's really, really interesting insight. So that was super interesting. And then there's a lot of other interesting things that came in. But as I said, the most important thing in terms of if you want to trade successfully, in terms of having the highest probability continuity trade, the highest probability continuity trades. And a continuity trade is basically a trade with trend in a non-chop environment, in an environment where you have either a slow or rapid angular move up or down, right? And those times, as I said to you, were 8 to 12 midnight, 12 midnight to 4 a.m. So basically sort of 8 to 4 a.m. if you want to chop up the sessions, and 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., the completely innocuous time. And by the way, the 1 p.m., what that made me realize, by the way, is I'm going to call that the power hour. And I absolutely, maybe twice, maybe even 3 times a week, maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday power hour lunch, the power lunch hour, we absolutely going to trade this. And I'm going to trade this with you on the funded accounts and show you exactly how that, because an 87% win rate strategy is just foolish for us to pass up. And of course, it should be much better. It's going to be a much better live entertainment than whatever the fuck I do on Market Open, because literally the worst time to trade is right now. And we're always, I'm always doing a tremendous amount of triage, right? I'm always like, oh, we made 2-3 great trades, and then then I'm getting myself into a huge amount of trouble. Remember, I showed you all of my trade analysis. All the big red bars are the 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Like I win 23 hours a day. I lose everything in that 1 hour. So it was super interesting to kind of understand that. I know we all want to be here for the Market Open because it's exciting. It's news flow. Everybody has huge volatility. But just remember, that is bullshit hour, and that bullshit hour should really only be traded against bullshit accounts. So I'm just trading everything out of my bullshit account right now, as far as that goes. It's an interesting question. Why do I use TradingView instead of NinjaTrader? First of all, we're really going to be using wealth charts a lot more. I got to tell you, one of the things Rob did so many cool improvements. The most valuable improvement that Rob did for anybody who's a prop trader, who's just, let's just forget about like kind of, algorithmic trading that I'm talking about, rules-based trading. If you're just a pure scalp, like an intuitive scalp trader that wants to use dots to help you trade discretionary on a moment-to-moment basis, in my opinion, there's just no better platform right now than wealth charts. Because look what he's doing here. He's got a running card. It's like a baseball card that tells you your statistics in real time of exactly your daily P&L, your liquidation, your distribution liquidation, your threshold, all this stuff. So you are never at a loss of where you are. I can't tell you how helpful this little data set is in terms of making sure that you don't get yourself too deep into drawdown on a day-to-day basis, right? Then everything, of course, is a point and click. You don't have to have Tradeovate, connected TradingView, and all the other kind of stuff. I mean, it's become a really, really well integrated, seamless system. And I'm just waiting. Today we're gonna retrofit the latest version of dots on here, as well as the ORB stuff. I haven't even talked about ORB. That's going to be a separate conversation and probably a separate set of lives for us to deal with ORB, because there's just it's a completely different strategy with very interesting, and I'm probably actually going to, before I do that, I'm going to do the exact same very deep dive research that I did with dots, so that I can come back to you and tell you exactly what the optimal trading structure for the ORB is. But anyways, we will have the ORB, we will have the dots easy in their latest permutations on wealth charts. Then we'll be able to trade that. So sorry, I went off tangent. Why do I trade TradingView? That TradingView, because NinjaTrader is Windows only, and a lot of people like to use the Mac. Basically, NinjaTrader is like a 1970s technology, right? It's very antiquated to the modern. It's great. Don't get me wrong. If you're an engineer, it's really beautiful. Could I retrofit all my stuff to NinjaTrader? Absolutely. Will I eventually do it? I know a lot of people ask me for it. I probably will. But NinjaTrader's huge flaw is the same flaw as MetaTrader. It is not platform agnostic. It's not web-based. And therefore, it's very, very 2008, or 1998 even. It's just fucking old, And in a modern world of retail trading, people want web-based, fully integrated. I don't care if I'm on a PC, Mac, or my phone type of platforms. So does that answer your question as to why I don't do NinjaTrader first? But we will, when we really, really kind of clean up all the code for the web-based platforms, I'll go back and I'll retrofit everything to NinjaTrader. So we are. Let's just see. I did not even see what the numbers were, guys. We didn't even look. We just traded the price flow. We didn't even trade numbers. Oh, look at that! It was actually cooler. Who the fuck would have thought that? And core was too. What does this mean? Why did this happen? Let's try to understand this. Does this mean that this is interesting? I'm just curious now. Now I'm really curious fundamentally. What the hell happened? Did the oil prices just not? Let's see. Right. That's actually really, really great quote by William Eckhart. One of the other great things I did, by the way, while I was away on my vacation, is I now have, like, if you guys are going to follow my feed, I've been able to automate a huge amount of really, like, I automated all the Iran war news into three. They get published, I think maybe 3 times or 2 times, like 9 o'clock in the morning, or it gets published like in times. And then I automated Trump's latest last 3 truths that Trump puts on Truth Social. And then, by the way, this is, I don't care whether you're right or left. You don't come at me on this. It's not that I'm a huge pro-Trumper. I'm an anti-Trumper. I'm definitely probably more Trumper than anti-Trumper at this point, but certainly not a fanboy. The reason why I do this is because if you actually read the last 3 Trump truths on Truth Social, there's an enormous amount of really interesting market value in whatever he says. Of course, he can rant and rave sometimes forever, but and they've actually turned out to be a very, very popular part of this feed. People really like to because nobody goes to Truth Social. This thing actually goes out there, pulls the last 3 things that he says, and publishes it 3 times a day. So that's another cool thing that it does. And then we have general market data, and then where's my Iran news? Oh, here's the Iran news, and then the latest latest headlines from Iran, which is also really, really bad. So all of this now is fully automated on the feed. That's why if you're not following me on the feed, please do so. It'll be really, really good. You will be able to to get some very, very good color on a fully automated basis. So hopefully you guys will like all that. So I totally lost my train of. Oh, we're going to go and now analyze what happened to CPI. Okay, let's see what happened to CPI. Let's go over here and let's see what they said. Let's see what the headlines. I'm going to go to my headlines. Oh, wait, shelter inflation up. Also up. So, of course, wait, is shelter did the shelter offset everything else? That makes sense. Yes. Okay, so that totally makes sense. See, we're looking at gas prices, but the actual big component of inflation is housing costs, and housing has just been cratering. Like rents are going down, all of that is going down. That's really pressing inflation lower, which is really interesting. Really interesting. It's a combination of both the fact that I think supply has really expanded under the Trump administration, and that demand has kind of really cratered. That people are just, first of all, rents got really, really squeezed out in post-COVID environment, and they've really come down. I think some markets, like I don't know who's in Austin here. I hear Austin has just completely collapsed. Florida has rents have really come down a lot. So all of that makes sense. That's actually we're looking at the wrong place in terms of estimating CPI, and that's what I mean about whenever you're trying to forecast economic data, there are so many variables. You very often miss the good ones. Okay, let me see what the hell is going on here in Iraq. Just to see Iran. I'm sorry. IRC asserting it's in charge, and those are just figureheads. IRC Commander-in-Chief Ahmadinejad is seeking to curb the authority of Mahmoud and Foreign Minister Agrachi in the talks. They can't even agree who's a negotiator. I think this guy is going to be the next one to get decapitated. Ahmad Vahidi. I think the Israelis are probably going to take him out. Vahidi also pushed for the inclusion of Mohammed Baghdad as the Secretary of Supreme Council, blah, blah, blah. They can't even agree. Interesting. All right. Well, there is a interesting geopolitical. Sorry. Let's trade a little bit. We'll go by this again. Very, very just small, quick scalps. Green dots against a green background. Let's see if we can squeeze out another 5 points out of here. I'm just going to scalp in trend direction with you guys as much as I can today, just really for shits and giggles to show you the key thesis of what I want to do. I should have been in actually on this trade. I was a little bit late. Sorry, I'm just And that's the other thing, by the way. Talk about that execution quote that I gave from William Eckhart. 99% of proprietary. That is, I'm just going to trade the dots on the way I'm reading the market and feeling it. 99% of my success and 1,000% of my failure, and I know I'm being exaggerated, but of course is not the dot itself, but the execution. Because I'll give you an example. The signal was here, right? If the signal was here, I would have already been done. But of course, I'm late because I'm yapping. I'm looking at data sets and everything else, and I'm like, oh, I have a signal, but that signal is 3 or 4 candles too late. But I'm still taking it because I'm a greedy little fuck, and my execution here is like 10 on a scale of 1 to 100. My execution here is like 10, right? Whereas my execution here would have been like 90. And what if you're going to trade dots discretionary? We're going to just take the dots, on your own personal scalping, vibe and where the market is at. Just remember that you're winning or losing not based upon the dots, but based upon how you execute those dots. That was another interesting takeaway from like all of the conversation I had with Claude, because I showed Claude all of my analysis. I showed Claude all of my trades. I'm like, how come I'm making money in this really terrible environment? Blah blah blah. And, we basically realized that all of it was just simply me discretionarily trading it with good execution. Okay, but when I'm in the zone myself, and And every one of my losses, I would say 90% of my losses, 95% of my losses when I'm trading discretionary dots is not because the dot fails me, it's because I fail myself on execution. No, we don't trade automated because first of all, Apex does not allow automated trading, and secondly, because I haven't built it in. Yeah. Yes, I am a Gemini. That's exactly it, astrologer. Yes, that's exactly it. That is not a trait, by the way, that any of the women in my family appreciate. Do you know how crazy my family is, astrologer? My mother's a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. My son is a Gemini. Nobody else in the family is. And you can imagine how everybody deals with us in our family. If you think I'm crazy, it's not even a level 1 to what my mother is like. Okay. My mother, by the way, is she's 88. They live in Florida. She still looks good, but I mean, she in her prime, she looked like Catherine Deneuve. She's blonde, blue-eyed, there's incredibly, high cheekbones, and exactly as you would imagine, a prima donna. My mother, for the first 10 years of her grandson's birth, was pissed beyond belief that he was born on her birthday, and she had to share the spotlight with him. That's just, that's my family. You have to understand my family. My favorite story of all time with my mother is she would never, ever go to parent-teacher conferences, right? So, like, my dad, who's American, who is a saint, who is just a great guy, like, I think forced her freshman year, high school, to go to like the one teacher conference, and they were like, "Oh, Boris, he's a really, really conscientious boy, and he's a super smart student. He's really, really doing well in his classes." She looked at the teacher, she goes, "Boris, are you kidding me? He's a moron." No, he said, "I couldn't be my son. He's a moron." And the teacher's face, just like, she couldn't believe that anybody would talk about her children that way, and just a very Russian way of talking. And I to this day, I laugh my ass off at just the absolute, sense of shock at that teacher's face. So yeah, that's Geminis and my family. Nice scalp here, right? It actually, we got lucky. It worked a little bit, and we're going to see if we can keep going here a little bit. But again, even if I'm going to be discretionary, the one thing I'm definitely not going to do is I'm not going to trade the red dots, because that's the one thing that really data showed me. Yeah, my mother was a character. I think there was another time, like, well, there's just like 1,000 stories from my mother, but like, my dad was a long time ago. My dad had a very high-end lobbying. We lived in Washington, D.C. I was raised in Washington, D.C. in McLean, Virginia, like home of the CIA. And he had a very high-end lobbying business. They were at some Tony congressional cocktail party, and Pat Buchanan was there. And she hated Pat Buchanan because he was like such a huge anti-Semite. And like, he came up to start talking to her, and she literally took a glass of champagne and poured it over his head. She said, "Fuck you, you're an asshole. Get away from me." It totally got away with it. It was just hilarious. So here's an interesting thing, by the way, what you're seeing over here on over here. because I implemented this whole ROC filter, you're actually seeing no dots whatsoever. And the reason why you're seeing no dots whatsoever is because this is basically saying this particular time frame, there is really no good trades, right? Like this is for serious filtration. If you're just not going to discretionary trade, it's just not going to show any dots at all because of the filter. If I were to lift this filter, and if I were to simply say, let me pull this up. If I were to say, if don't enable the RSC filter, then you're going to see the dots. See the dot RSC filter goes away, and now you can see this. So it's a question of like whether you want to just trade in the optimal time frames, or when in optimal time frames, this RSC filter, rate of change filter, is just going to say that it doesn't matter what the candles are. We're just not going to show you any dots at all because we're only going to show you dots. So it's going to show you dots only in those times when we have the optimal trading time, which is 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Right? Basically that 8-hour block, and then 1,300 hours to 1,400 hours. You could trade this during the New York session and enable the ROC filter during the New York session. Let me see if I can find this for you. So if I were to enable this, and I'm looking for the New York session, which is let's say 4, and that's going to be UTC hours, let's say 12 to 18, right? Okay, let me see if this works. Oh no, session 3. Sorry, session 3. Let's just do 12, and this would be 17. Let me see if this works. And then we have show delta both. Okay. Huh. I got to play around with these with this RSC thing. Hey, it's a new feature that I haven't even properly configured yet. But let me see how this is. Why is this not? It's not showing me any of these. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's half hour. That's what it says to you. So you see, it shows you that the in London session RSC was a failure, and therefore none of the you don't do any candles. And so if I was to do session 3, let's see, it's half hour before 8 o'clock, which should be UTC. Why isn't this? Huh. It's 12 ETC. Why is this not working? Okay, whatever. I'll figure this out a little bit later. That's the way it's working. In the meantime, we'll just try to scalp in the direction of the trend. Although we are definitely getting closer to the VWAP. Markets are up, but very, very lame. When can we get the new version? Probably like Tuesday, Wednesday, because again, I need to incorporate the ROC function in here. Everything else has been incorporated, the dot count, the delta, but I just want to put in the ROC function in here. So I'm going to be testing it today, but it should be pretty soon that we're going to be able to get the whole thing going. Oh yeah, I literally look exactly like my mother. That's true. It's not anything to me. There's a picture of when I graduated from college, and it's like she and I are like like cheek to cheek, and it's just the same face. It's literally the same face. So white dot over here, slope is not in our favor. I'm going to just sort of stick to a very, very simple scalping of slope dot trend, just for us to scalp this out. So we're not going to take this trade because obviously slope is negative, but give it, the next one, slope goes positive. We'll try to take it. Oh, sorry. That's a just ignore this because unfortunately there's no. That was an old promo on the 6PA. So I just didn't have the right. I'm in Jersey today, so I didn't have the right promo clips to put down on this computer. So just ignore the $6 lifetime guarantee. There was a promotion they had like a long time ago. We got 5 minutes to 8 minutes to the open. Would I take this trade? I'll if this trade holds as a green dot, I'll take it for a small scalp, see if we can get it, and then after that we'll just wait until the market opens up for a little bit of proprietary scalping. Oh, here we go. Let's get long. Buy. Let's see if we can get another five points clicked out of here. We got about 5 minutes, 8 minutes to the open. Usually we don't take the trades here in front of it, but we'll just give it one last shot to just see if we can scalp it out. Again, so kind of let you guys know on a proprietary basis, if you're sort of trading this proprietarily, what is it that I do that when I'm trading against a very, very bad background, and this is the key thing, if this is a bad background trade with, from 6 in the morning till 11 o'clock, the most, volatile price action where you have the least amount of continuity and the most amount of retrace, right? Things pop really, really hard up and then they retrace out, take you out, or they pop a little bit, they don't really extend, as much as you want it to. Like all the things that make dot trading toxic, like every inverse aspect of dot trading happens during this time. And how is it that I was able to kind of still survive and thrive in that environment? And the reason was I'm traded very, very small. When I got wrong, I reversed. That was, astrology talks about the idea of like being flexible. I reversed on size. I would make back, most of the time I would make back the loss. And then, so in other words, I would start here. I would gradually build up my P&L. I would get a little bit I would get a loss, and then I would just come back with size and bring myself back up to the high watermark of the P&L and just keep going up like that. And so it's not exactly very, very professional way of doing it because I was bullying the market with size, but only tactically, only on when things, when clearly I was hitting the wrong trade. And again, that type of stuff, it's completely non-quantifiable because sometimes I would come in with size, sometimes I would just let it go. That's why I'm saying to you that if you're trading proprietarily, the most important thing that I learned was to basically trade on the side of the VWAP. So like right now, and eventually you're going to be wrong. Like right now, I bought the high, and of course, again, we always have this rule: don't trade 5-10 minutes before the open because they're always going to fake out the moves. I shouldn't have taken this trade, but I'm just fucking around with you guys. So let me just show you like what I would do right now. Like what would I do right now? I would actually flatten. I would go 3. I'm going to show you what I do, kind of like myself behind doors. We turn from green to red. I'm thinking that it's a reversal trade. I'm just going to try and take a little bit of that reversal trade the other way, right? But again, this is not any kind of a good rule to do. You're just very much instinctively responding to the price action. You could get into very big trouble if you get too large a size and you're wrong on your positions. Like I actually should have probably taken this out. I'm just it's hard to narrate and do it at the same time. But let me see if this is gonna the trade. I should have flipped myself around. And the point is that when you start getting into this whole flip motion, it's very easy to really, really get yourself buried very deeply, which is why I don't do it on any of my funded accounts. This is just a bullshit account that I'm doing it with right now. Here, I'm going to just flatten myself out, And the whole point is I'm not looking to make money on my reversal trade. I'm just looking to stopgap the losses. I'm just looking to recover the losses. So the only thing that I think is really valuable from doing it this way, and then I go right back to just one. The only thing that's valuable from doing it this way is no greed, right? You cannot have greed. You're not looking to make money on the reversal trade. You're just trying to basically get a little bit back of your losses, and then you just keep focusing on your primary setup. The primary setup being, trading with trend on dots. Ba-boom, 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 right? So, I think the interesting part is that we can do a lot more, I guess, discretionary trading in this, in the open hour, and then we can do funded account trading in the power lunch hour, 13 to 1400, where that would be there I would really be trading, funded accounts with you guys, and you guys can see how that trades out. All right, we got 2 minutes to the open. Market's very, very flat. It's sort of a typical Friday. Very, very little movement here. Let's see what he wants to do. Still positive trend, positive dots. So I want to be taking the up trades. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Ask me anything Friday. Go ahead, hit me. Any questions on your mind, I'm happy to answer whatever's going on, whatever you guys are thinking. We got funded on our new straddle trades today, and I'm just basically scalping away discretionarily while we put the finishing touches on the latest version of the BFF dots, which I should be able to have for you guys by Monday. I think it's going to be like as I was saying, the best hour statistically was 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., 1,300 hours to 1,400 hours. So I'm going to try to weave that in as part of our live trading program, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably. I'm going to double check over the weekend what were the statistically the best days to trade this. But the meat of the week, the meat of the week is almost always the best time to trade any of this stuff. All right, 40 seconds to the open. I'm going to do this just for shits and giggles, guys. I'm probably going to get stopped out, but let's just for shits and giggles. I like to do this. We have a positive. I'm just going to see if they're going to sweep the open. I'm just kind of betting on the fact they're going to sweep the open, meaning that they're going to pop it up on the open. And if it does, then I'm going to get done. And this is exactly what I'm saying. And we got like 1 second to the opens, boom, 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 right? I'm just anticipating. I've seen this shit so many times. That's why I took the trade. But it's literally like a 2-second trade because they pop it, then they drop it. And it just ran a nice quick scalp over here on that. But for now, we're just going to wait for. The other thing is you want to wait for the first at least 2 minutes of the open just to see where the establishment of the dots is, if there's continuity or reversal. Right now, it's just kind of a mild continuity, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens after that. But you see, you almost always know that there's just a little bit of a rip, right? Sometimes there's a massive dip depending on where the skew is on the news is. I'm actually curious. Nice little pop. So fresh session highs on New York, right? Nice move. Market is more constructive than you would think going into this weekend. I was going to say, I think, I could be wrong, but I think the whole ceasefire is just simply a pause while we get the 82nd Airborne and the Marines in place. I think they're going to go out, take out Carg Island, basically expropriate Iran's oil and then dump it on the market, which is what I would do. And I think that's the subterfuge, or threaten to do that unless they completely negotiate the deal. I was just thinking, do we want to trade this? I want to trade this. Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Give me five. I'm a little late on my execution. I should have. This gonna eat it. See, this is a good example of me yapping. I should have been right on the close here. I would have gotten the execution done. Now it's going to retrace me out. This is, by the way, a classic example of what happens in New York. You don't get continuity. You don't get enough continuity if you don't execute perfectly, and then you get the retrace that stops you out, which is typical of New York trading. Which is why I always say, you really want to focus. The only way to make money in this type of thing is just to be totally on spec to execution here. See, I should have been in over here. Would have totally gotten done. I'm going to get out. Just get out because I had bad execution. The other great thing is, you see, like on wealth charts, you can really see, oh, did you do a good execution? Did you do a bad execution? And if you see you did a bad execution, you can just try to get out even if you wanted to, which I did luckily enough here. Session highs over here, and now we bust out through fresh session highs. I'll buy some more. See if no, not gonna work. Big reversal. Okay, just kind of like show you, again, what I'm doing here is again, the rule of thumb that I like to do is just no more than 3 dots in a row. I did 4. I got greedy. It was a complete clear reversal. I just basically increased size when a reversal, get myself back to flat. We're still basically positive bid, just retracing back to the other thing is once you stretch away from the moving average, it's always going to come back to the moving average and then come back up. So now I'm just simply going to wait, see if I get a green dot from the moving average and try to trade the upside of it. The mistakes that I made, the stops that I'm getting are purely stops of execution. It's a perfect example. I just want to show you that if you're discretionary trading all of this stuff on dots, most of your mistakes are going to be based upon execution. If you're coming in 1, 2, 3 dots, you're good. If you're coming in beyond 3 dots, you're already chasing the trade, right? And it's completely going to go against you. Now we're positive, still positive trend, positive slope, but a big reversal off the session highs. They ran it from highs, they ran it to lows. Now they're going to consolidate and see which way they really want to go. You see, like, if you look at it on TradingView over here, this was 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dots. That's it. You should stop at 3 dots, right? And I kind of pressed the 4th dot, That's when I ate and I reversed myself on it. Oh, there's another interesting setup. Again, I think I'm gonna try this one now. No, hang on a second. I want to do one buy. Yeah. Here's the interesting setup that is also really worth just discretionarily scalping. So this one got done. Is you have a red candle against a green slope, right? That is not a sell. That is actually a huge buy. It's a screaming buy. That's the value buy because the slope is still green, but the sell-off is happening. So you really you want to be a buyer of that candle. So I basically bought that late, but that was that's the thesis of what you want to do here. These are little. I'm going to buy this again. See if we can get a little bit of a move. Yeah, so recovered the green dot, and there we go. Another clean one. So you see, like, first of all, what's the one thing I'm doing here, with the exception of when I'm losing quick reversal trades, is I'm literally 8 or 9 trades of mine were all buys. They're buys because we're above the VWAP or we're above the 200 SMA, right? That's it. Like the single most important variable that comes out of this data set is this. And that's, by the way, is super interesting, is even if you don't follow necessarily the best practices of what the AI tells you, what the analysis tells you on the strategy, you can still follow the best principles, right? And just following the best principles will already make you a better trader in terms of scalping, right? You see how boom, but me staying on the right side of the trade, I did well, and basically my losses were all execution losses, not principal losses. I think, by the way, also, I think even in the old version of BFF, we can choose on the parameters. It's very important. I think it's really good to take this away. You want to do, where's dot settings? Just do trend only. Just don't even have the counter trend dots over here, so that you don't, you're not persuaded by the counter trend dots. But as I said, what is kind of cool is when you get a red candle against a green slope, the contradiction in direction, it was actually a great buy. Buying here was a great buy, right? Now we're coming down to the 200 SMA. We're getting close to the VWAP. And by the way, VWAP is definitely the best long-term trends. My candles are a minute behind. No, I think my candles are fine. Does anybody think my candles are a minute behind? They're the same candle on TradingView as on the wealth chart, so I think I'm fine. Oh no, Michael, you're probably so you're watching me on live. Live is always going to have a little bit of a delay, right? That's why I kind of narrate ahead of time. Live is always going to have this. There's always a small delay on YouTube from what you're going to see on your chart versus what's being broadcast, because there's always a small delay. Yeah, it's not instantaneous. That's why I'm always forecasting ahead of time what I'm about to do, because you're always going to see me a little bit late. Buy at VWAP. Yeah, like right here, kind of close enough. Try to buy it. Where's the oops. So we broke session highs. Astrology, what's the session lows here? 204. Might break the session lows, right? Anyways, I'm just curious. Who thinks that that we're gonna have more military activity? You know, right? Like this is we're not done with attacking. The war is not over. Actually, let's do a poll. I'm curious. Let's do a poll. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta do it over here. I could do it over here. Let's see if I can do it. Sorry, let me do it over here. Just 1 second. I'm gonna switch accounts. All right, let's do a poll. Let's see what everybody thinks. Iran war over or not? Ignore that, David. Unfortunately, it's just an old banner. It's not. I wish I could give that to you, but it's not. That's no longer available. I just didn't have the time to change the banners. Yeah, I kind of agree. So I didn't take this green dot because the slope just wasn't there for us, right? We're getting slows. You know, everybody's talking about the fact that we're going to try and test the VWAP over here at 277, which could definitely happen. So as you see, the one thing I'm doing differently is I'm just not going for any of the reds. I'm not trying to be pick the bottom hero or reversal hero here today. Just looking at my stuff here. 9:45. Let's see if there's anything in the news flow just to. Oh, you know what else is really cool? Financial Juice has a Tradingview plugin, right? Which I've actually been able to use. Let me show this to you. Okay, let me show this to you. I'm going to go to full screen. Or actually, let's just do it over here. Let's just do a Tradingview plugin. I'll show you what it does. You simply download it from Trading. It's free from Financial Juice, right? And it's actually pretty cool. It's a little dot. It's kind of a dot that goes on your Tradingview, and it gives you headlines. Okay, blah blah blah. So it gives you like all these great headlines. It gives you calendar, all the data on the calendar, which including today's data. By the way, that's actually, I forgot we could have used this as a calendar data. We have U of M coming up here. So it's just a very, very cool little plugin that literally goes as a little dot over here that you could just click on to do. So just totally free thing from Financial Juice to go get it. So anyways, let's see what else is going on in the headlines. President world's most powerful reset. Okay, I don't know what that means, but let's see what everybody's saying on the poll. Oh yeah, market is right. 12% yes, 88% no. I think in this case the majority is right. I don't think we're done. Oh, we have a signal here on this thing. Let's take it. What the hell? That's a pretty decent um, signal. Let's see if that's going to work for us. Not quite. It's actually, I probably should have waited because it was like a half slope, right? The slope didn't really confirm the move, but worth a shot. Let's see if it's going to pop for us. There we go. It did pop, right? Okay, good. So we're staying on trend, staying on green dots. 15 seconds left. Session highs are over here. Okay, another pop. Do you see me? That was so fast that from the time I clicked to the time I got done, that all worked. You can see my wins and losses over here, basically right over here. See, pop, pop, pop. Now I got 3 dots, right? 1, 2, 3. Basically, I think this is my last chamber. I have 1, 2. If I get a third dot, is the absolute. Oops, what happened to my thing? It's the last time I want to fire a candle until I get like a red candle pause. Yeah. Can I move the box for the U.S. session? You're talking about this box over here? That's going to be moved. You're seeing my version that you don't have yet. When I've updated, this whole thing is going to go up here, Dr. D. So you're going to be able to see. This is how it's going to look. So you will not, it won't be blocking it. Right now, it's blocking it a little bit. But when I release the new version, it'll be done. So you see, we're building, obviously very, very small scalping, but I'm net positive just by being discretionary here, and implementing the bigger principles into my trading, right? Very choppy, very, very quiet price action. Back down to the view app. The actual range in New York is very, very. What is the range here? How is it not showing me? It's a very small range. Is this on wealth charts or on TradingView? U.S. session, the green box is over price action. Okay, hold on. Let me add the one that you guys have on here. Let me see what you guys are seeing. Are you saying this green box? This is what you're saying? That's going to be gone. This green box is going to move up to the top. I know it's kind of blocking you. It's on an 8-period SMA right now. That's why it's blocking you on the thing. You're not saying that. Okay, I don't know what you're saying then. Maybe you'll send me a screenshot of what you're seeing. and it's much easier than trying to explain it in words. Okay. Oh, I want to buy. Yeah, I want to buy. It's still going to work. Hopefully. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. So again, green slope, green dot. Just very very simple scalping, but all trend oriented, right? Just that's like 90% of dumbass trades I eliminated just by staying on trend today, right? And I just keep growing. We just made 50. We made pretty much 50 with a couple of execution errors. Could have been 100 on just literally one micros, right? Just one micro on this account. Just a good example of like a very interesting information that I got out of doing all the data analytics. I mean, today is just look at this day. It's a dead day, right? If you look at Friday, it's a 71. It's basically like an 80-point range. We do this sometimes in one candle, and that's been the range since the open today, because typical Friday bullshit day, and we're still able to really extract money out of it by just focusing on one thing, which is trading trend on slope. You guys seeing that? Hey Keith, how are you? Right. Oh, you can't see the current high, the current. I don't think I might be able to do anything about that, because you have to, choose a color for the range box. In New York, green is just that. I mean, I'll try to see if I can do an alternative color, because gold, blue. I don't know what would be the alternative color for the box. It's just basically choosing the box color. I think you yourself can actually change the box color. Let me see if you can change the box color. Style. Let me see session boxes. Session boxes, Asia box color. Yes. So here you go. We can change this to, I don't know, something like this, light yellow. Say okay. And now you can see it. Now I guess you could see it, right? Dr. D, you see what I'm saying? You can change the New York color to a different thing, and you can see the highs and the lows. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was configurable. All right, I'm going to go back to the screen setting because it doesn't really bother me that much. Where's the range settings? Okay. All right. See if I can get one more green dot over here. So far, no, but we're holding bid, trying to see if we can squeeze out a little bit more price action. Man, really, really, really quiet price action today, huh? And options so we can decide how far away from the range. How far away from the range? What? This helps when trading TradeAway and trading lines appear in TradingView. Far away from the range? What, Keith? Yeah, astrologist says he's sticking to trend only. Yeah, no, it does make a huge difference. It's just when you have thousands and thousands of data points and it's just telling you you're literally a moron to trade against trend. It does humble you. Even because the problem is, we'll catch 2 or 3 good trades, counter trend. We're like, oh, this is so easy. Let me try it. And it's always the bigger sucker bet. It's the 3 out of 10 that work. And you're like, oh, that's what I should be doing. When in fact, 7 out of 10 is. You mean like, so the range is offset by one candle? So like, for example, the last candle is just simply showing outside of range. Is that so that you can actually see the last? In other words, range line would be one candle behind, so the last candle is floating around. Is that what you want, Keith? So that you can actually see the candle against the background, not against the range. That's what you want? Yes, Keith? Give me a yes one more time, because I just want to make sure you're answering my question. Right. So you basically would like the green box to be shifted one candle to the left so that the most recent candle is just literally against the background. There is no lines. So the highs and the lows are not it's actually kind of like this. See, Wealth Charts does it automatically. See, Wealth Charts automatically paints the most recent, the range is one candle behind, but on TradingView, it's not. Is that what you're saying? Yes, guys? That's what you guys want? Okay, that's possible. That's possible on TradingView. Yeah, I'll create an offset structure, so just one candle behind it. It's paint. TradingView paints in real time, and Wealth Charts paints on candle close. Okay, all right, super, super, super. No problem. I'll do that over the weekend when I finish up all the configurations, and then they'll be ready to go. All right, we're kind of dropping down to the VWAP. Astrologer, I think that if I have no idea if this is going to be, but like if we kind of come down, I think we test the London low. I think we go to 200. But of course, this is always that oh, Michigan. Oh, here's Michigan, by the way. Here's Michigan. Let's see what Michigan says. Look at this. Michigan, really bad. Holy shit. That's bad numbers on Michigan. 47, previous was 53. So really, the sentiment has just got dropped off the cliff since the U.S. war. Did you guys see that? And again, that was just literally off that little dot. That's a very useful little tool here. It's a free plugin on Chrome from Financial Juice. So Michigan really, really dropped hard. Okay. And I was going to say, that feels to me like it wants to, they want to take it down. Market just really shrugs everything off these days, huh? We're sitting on VWAP, bouncing off. I kind of think we're going to break VWAP. I don't think we're going to bounce off the VWAP. This is a really negative data set. I'm going to sell this. I think we're going to go down. There we go. Nice little clip. That was just a pure fundamental trade because I really think the data was much worse than the market expected. So you have a drop, retrace, and then pretty much continuation. If we start making fresh lows, then I think we actually do have a reasonable chance to test the 200 London low. We'll see how it holds for the time being. It is holding, but not exactly bouncing. It's holding like it wants to break to the downside. Let's see. Let's see if it holds. All right, guys, I'll probably trade with you like another 10, 15 more minutes because I got to go pick up the doggies from the doggy daycare. The girls in the house really miss the doggies. Right now, all I would be trading is if it comes back up, it's holding the VWAP. It's got the slope turns green, dots turn green. Yes. Otherwise, I just have no trades. Or we actually break the VWAP and we start turning red dots. Then I want to trade the other way. But for now, I got nothing. Oh my God. Look at that zero hedge. Oh, it's just an Orthodox Easter ceasefire. Oh, it's not a huh. This is actually interesting. So this whole, Ukraine obviously has been off the headlines, but I don't know if you guys have been following the whole latest update in Ukraine. Ukrainians are so good at drone warfare now; they've become such experts at it they've actually been able to outgun the Russians in drone warfare, which become, by the way, is everybody. I think everybody kind of realizes that drone warfare now has become the asymmetric warfare that allows weaker countries to be able to stay in the game. I mean, look at Iran. Iran's ability to survive is strictly based upon its drone warfare. People are asking, like, how is Iran able to control the Strait of Hormuz when their whole navy is blown up? Got a red dot here, by the way, guys. Legit downtrend. So we're going to trade that if it holds. And the answer, the very simple answer is drones. Iranians have there are two types of drones. There's the air drones that they can go through the air, but there's also sea drones that are basically guided little, munition missiles that go at ships and blow up, like kamikaze boats. And so that is why they're able to control the Strait of Hormuz, because they're able to constantly attack all these defenseless tankers. And I mean, that is why, I wonder if they're going to create a U.S. manpower operation, because then if you take out Karg Island and all the little islands around it, we're going to short this, by the way. We're going to short this right now. Okay, short this. Let's see if it's going to work for us. It's the first red dot. Although it's not below VWAP, it's below 200. So I'm pivoting on well charts off the 200 versus the VWAP. So this is why VWAP I like better than 200, because it's a more accurate reading of the larger trend. So this may be a false trade, but we'll see. We'll see if it drops further down here. So anyways, Ukrainians have become masters at manufacturing, creating drones, and they are actually taking territory back from the Russians as a result of this. And I think that's what's really happening, as to hopefully that war may be winding down, because Russians are just bleeding right now, even though they have more personnel, because these drones are killing soldiers left and right. Doesn't look like. See, this was a 200 SMA move, not a VWAP move. So this was a legit trade that just simply may not work. We'll see. I'm going to flatten out. Because if it hasn't resolved in one or two candles, I don't care. I'll wait for a better red dot to trade, because they clearly are still holding the VWAP. Slope is positive, so that little sell-off still not really accelerating. All that little information, interesting for us, right? Now we're getting closer and closer to breaking the VWAP. This red dot holds, we're definitely going to short this, because it's a much more legitimate sell. $20 seconds left. Now we're breaking the VWAP on the TradingView side. So we're starting to accelerate the sell-off. Come on. I thought we had it. $72. Just missing my target. Come on, baby. No. 68.75. Just missed my target, and I'm going to probably eat this trade. Test the VWAP and come back up. Let's see. Let's see if this. Let's see who's got the control here. Buyers trying to rally really, really hard off the bottom here, but if they keep holding it underneath the VWAP, it's going to be a more downside trades. I get taken out. I just missed my target here, and I got taken out. Okay. Now we have to be very patient. I'm going to watch this very carefully, see if it can reverse around here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go long here. Boom. All right, I reversed myself out a little bit better. A little better trade here, but they did hold the VWAP. This is now a long trade. I mean, this is a 200 SMA over here. This is the VWAP. It was more accurate to have used the VWAP, which is why I should have just simply used it. Again, execution error. I was watching the well charts off 200, and I'm going to, one of the cool things is well charts. We're going to add the VWAP. We won't have to have the 200 in here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to take this trade again. There we go. All right. So you see, I mean, that's the whole point is the two sell signals were false. They weren't legitimate sell signals. That's the only thing that I got tripped up on. But staying, had I stayed positive and all this stuff. And I can trade this for the rest of the day and, stayed positive with you. I just wanted to kind of show you the big principle idea, which is that when you're trading with trend, almost the majority of all your trades were all winners, right? The only time I got in trouble was when I traded effectively counter trend against trend here because this was a false sell-off. This 200 SMA is not the right trade. That's why the VWAP as a trend anchor is a much better anchor than the 200 SMA. So that's one thing that we'll incorporate into well charts when we update the whole thing. They really held it. Yeah, they really don't care. I guess they're just dismissing the U of M data. All right, more. Bye. There we go. So again, I'm watching the trading view for my true clues because it's 1, 2, 3 dots, right? 1, 2, 3 dots. That's it. That's what I want to do. I want to do 3 dots in a row. Now I really need a like a pause candle or a pause dot before I come back and re-enter the long side. I don't want to chase this, 3 consecutive dots is all I want to do. So now I'm just going to wait. You guys kind of following what I'm doing? Still trading to trend. Um, Obviously, should have stayed on the VWAP instead of the 200 SMA, and then 3 dots, and then you pause until you get fresh signals. Looking at the price structure, though, we basically have a series of higher lows here. Market is very choppy with a little bit of a negative bias, as you know, since the open. Really haven't been able to take out the session highs, but we did rebuild around the VWAP. So we'll see if it starts to create, like right now. If I get a green dot over here on TradingView, that's going to be a buy on well charts. See if this dot is gonna work for us. It's not giving us a dot here because it's still chop conditions. It really needs to see a little bit better conditions for us to convert to. Even though this gave us a dot, I guess we could have traded this, this well chart dot. Let me see if I can buy it. Again, bad execution. Should have bought it here. Again, me doing half-ass job here on the BS account. Either should have not taken it because the TradingView did not give me a thing, or taken it at the close here instead of taking it late, so my execution was bad. Like it was just doing half-ass job on both things. Should have just passed up on this trade. Yeah, we're still continuing making lower highs, but we're also making like a V-shaped background. So I'd be very wary of like trying to short this based upon the price action, because we could break out a little bit higher and that's it. What I should be doing is just taking the dot signals from TradingView and not really taking the old dots from well charts. That would have been a better thing. Either that or just take the well charts at the close. Either way, I would have gotten done. Now I'm paying the price of bad execution and bad decision. It's fine. That's why it's the bullshit account, because I'm just going back and forth on this account. see if this thing can start popping a little bit higher. 16 seconds left. Needs to clear 35.25 for us to give a dot signal. No signals yet. Yeah, it's definitely time to break out. I mean, I'm fucking around right now because it's just because everybody just wants to hang out a little bit. But like I said, this. Here we go. Can I get a dot? Can I get a dot? No, still not getting. Still choppy conditions on the chopper meter. We're really not getting any price action here. I'm basically taking wealth chart signals, not trading view signals, because I'm just going to commit to a wealth charts execution. But we'll see if that works. I'm not holding my breath here. But really, like from a purist point of view, I still don't have a dot because we're still in kind of a chop conditions. All right, we got one done. We got two done. Come on, flatten. All right, and we're gonna get out of here. Still don't have a dot here on the thing. It's a very, very slow fade. I got very lucky on this. I recovered all my, I'm still positive P&L here. But honestly, I mean, let's hang out just one more. Let's just hang out and see if I could actually get a dot on TradingView, which would be like a legitimate signal. But you see how it's a very slow grind higher. I got very lucky on the fact that it's a slow grind higher on the move here. We have this overhead here at the 50s, at the 70s. But it really feels like the market, they want to take out session highs. Like they just, the price is coiling to the upside, right? Let's see if we get, we're clearly building up to a legit green dot here. Let's see if we can do it. All right, here's TradingView, first legit green dot. If this holds, we're gonna go long on wealth charts. All right, long here. Let's see if this is gonna give us any kind of extension. Really quiet price action. Doesn't look like that dot gives us any continuation, which is, like that's consistent with what I was saying to you about how this is a pretty treacherous time to trade. But I'm going to leave you. Oh, did I get tapped? I got tapped out. I guess I got tapped out. Really? How did I get tapped out on this? 45. Oh yeah, I got tapped out. All right. So we got tapped out on this. There's still, tons of room to scalp and trade further. I mean, actually, the next green dot I would definitely get larger on because I think it feels like it's building up to take out the session highs. This is kind of the shorts can't seem to get it, get any kind of price action to the downside. So if we get a confirmation on an upside, I'll trade larger size. But I'm going to run, guys. It was literally a lot of fun. I had a great day scalping with you guys. All the new versions, both on Wealth Charts and TradingView, will be ready hopefully by early next week, and we'll really get into it. But trading with trend definitely is the trade to make. As I said, the key thing is just try to eliminate as many execution errors as you possibly can. And so long as you do that, you're in great shape. Guys, have a great day, great weekend. It's been a lot of fun. As I said, I'm going to share all that information with you guys next week. I really enjoy. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.